Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're exploring one of the most exciting modern quarters in the United States coin series, the 2022 Dr. Sally Ride Quarter. This coin is part of the American Women Quarters program, a series designed to honor remarkable women who made history. And when it comes to breaking barriers, Dr. Sally Ride is a name that shines brightly. For those who may not know, Sally Ride was the first American woman to travel into space in 1983. Her journey aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger was more than just a scientific mission, it was a giant leap forward for women in science and exploration. She inspired generations to look up at the stars and believe that nothing was impossible. The U.S. Mint honored her legacy with this beautifully designed quarter in 2022, ensuring her story lives on in the pockets and collections of millions. Now let's take a closer look at the design. The obverse of the coin features the standard portrait of George Washington, but with a new left-facing profile that was introduced with this program. It gives the coin a fresh, modern look. On the reverse side, we see a stunning tribute to Dr. Ride herself. She's depicted looking out the window of the space shuttle, gazing at Earth, with stars surrounding her image. Her name and the phrase, E pluribus unum, complete the design, tying her personal story to the broader story of America. The artwork is both powerful and graceful, a symbol of curiosity and exploration. Now, why should collectors pay attention to this coin? First, the mintage numbers are not as high as some earlier state quarters, making them more collectible over time. Second, because this is a new issue from 2022, many people assume it's too modern to carry real value, but that's not the whole story. Even modern coins can skyrocket in value if they're found in pristine condition or struck with unique errors. Error coins are where things get really exciting. Already, examples of the Dr. Sally Ride quarter have been discovered with double dies, where parts of the design or lettering show a shadowy doubling effect. This can be seen in the stars, the inscriptions, or even in Dr. Ride's figure itself under magnification. These small minting mistakes make a coin instantly more desirable. There have also been off-center strikes reported, where the design is shifted noticeably, leaving part of the blank planchet exposed. These are dramatic errors that collectors love because they're so visibly different. In rare cases, wrong planchet errors can occur, meaning the quarter design is struck on a nickel or dime blank. Such pieces are incredibly scarce and command big money when they appear at auction. Condition is another major factor. A coin that's been sitting in circulation, bouncing between hands, will usually show scratches and wear. But one pulled fresh from a mint roll or saved in pristine condition can achieve high mint state grades from grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Coins graded mint state 67 or higher are especially rare, and their value jumps dramatically compared to lower grades. Another layer of appeal comes from the fact that this quarter represents not just history, but inspiration. Collectors aren't just buying a piece of metal, they're holding a tribute to one of America's pioneering astronauts, someone who changed the way we see science, gender equality, and the future. That emotional connection often makes modern commemorative coins more desirable than people expect. So what about the value? Here's where it gets exciting. A regular circulated Dr. Sally Ride quarter will usually still be worth just 25 cents. But uncirculated examples in high mint state condition have already sold for dozens of dollars. Error coins, like double dies or dramatic off-center strikes, have reached into the hundreds. And some of the rarest high-grade or unique error examples tied to this quarter have crossed into the thousands at auction. So the next time you spot a Dr. Sally Ride quarter in your change, don't dismiss it as just another modern coin. Take a close look, check for those errors, and if it's in pristine shape, consider holding onto it. It might just be worth far more than face value. Top 2, we're turning back the clock to the early 1980s, a time when the United States Mint was producing billions of coins for everyday use, but not every coin that rolled out of those presses was the same. The 1983 Washington quarter is one of those coins that at first glance might seem ordinary, but once you take a closer look, you'll discover why collectors keep their eyes peeled for it. The 1983 quarter carries a story that makes it stand out. Unlike many other years, the Mint did not issue official mint sets in 1982 or 1983. That means coins from those years didn't get preserved in large numbers in pristine, uncirculated condition. Instead, almost all of them went straight into circulation. This is one of the biggest reasons why high-grade 1983 quarters are so rare today. Most of them picked up scratches, dings, and heavy wear from everyday use, and finding one in mint state condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. On the obverse of the coin, you'll see the familiar bust of George Washington, a design that has been a staple of American coinage since 1932. Flip it over, and you'll find the proud heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows and an olive branch, a classic symbol of American strength and peace. While the design may look ordinary, the scarcity in high grade and the errors tied to this coin are what make it truly extraordinary. Collectors love the 1983 quarter because of its surprising rarity and well-preserved condition, but the story doesn't end there. This coin is also famous for some dramatic errors that can make an ordinary-looking quarter worth a small fortune. One of the most well-known is the double die reverse, where parts of the eagle's feathers or the inscriptions show clear doubling under magnification. Imagine seeing the letters in United States of America appear doubled. This instantly elevates the value of the coin. Another type of error collectors hunt for is off-center strikes. This happens when the blank planchet is not perfectly aligned during minting, leaving part of the design missing and a crescent of blank space showing. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. There are also examples of 1983 quarters struck on the wrong planchet. In extremely rare cases, a quarter design can be struck on a dime or even a cent blank. These wrong planchet errors are true showstoppers at auctions, and they bring in some eye-popping prices because each one is unique. Die cracks and cuds are other collectible features you might spot on a 1983 quarter. These appear as raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin where the die had worn out or broken during the striking process. While smaller cracks may not add much value, larger cuds or dramatic breaks can attract significant attention from error collectors. The absence of mint sets, the difficulty of finding pristine survivors, and the thrilling world of mint errors make this coin a favorite target for serious collectors. It reminds us that sometimes the most valuable coins aren't the oldest ones, but the ones with a story of scarcity and survival. So, what about the value of the 1983 quarter? Here's the part you've been waiting for. In circulated condition, most of these coins are still worth just 25 cents. But in pristine mint state grades, they can be worth hundreds of dollars. High-grade examples certified by grading companies have sold at auction for thousands. And when it comes to dramatic error coins, like major off-center strikes or wrong planchet pieces, those have crossed into the several $1,000 range in real auction sales. So, the next time you come across a 1983 quarter in your change or in a forgotten jar of coins, take a close look. That ordinary-looking coin in your hand could turn out to be something very special, a rare survivor with a story to tell and value far beyond its face. Top 3. We're stepping into the world of the 1996 United States quarter, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but once you understand its story, its rarity in certain forms, and the errors tied to it, you'll see why collectors pay close attention to this piece of American change. The 1996 Washington quarter came out in the final years before the state quarter program began in 1999, which means it belongs to the classic eagle reverse design that had been used since 1932. This was the end of an era, and coins from this time capture the last chapter of the traditional quarter before the U.S. Mint shook things up with new designs celebrating all 50 states. On the obverse, we see George Washington's familiar portrait, a design that has graced the quarter for decades. Flip it over, and you're greeted with the heraldic eagle, wings spread proudly, clutching arrows and an olive branch. For many people, this design is the symbol of what a quarter is supposed to look like. But while the design may be familiar, the value of certain 1996 quarters lies in the details that most people overlook. Let's talk about rarity. In circulated condition, the 1996 quarter isn't hard to find. After all, millions were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. But the challenge comes in finding these coins in pristine, uncirculated condition. High-grade coins, especially those graded mint state 67 or higher, are extremely scarce. The vast majority of these quarters went straight into circulation, bouncing between hands, vending machines, and registers, picking up scratches and wear along the way. That makes untouched examples stand out as truly special. Then there are the proof issues struck at the San Francisco Mint. These were made specifically for collectors, with mirror-like fields and frosted designs. Silver-proof versions also exist, and those carry their own level of collector appeal, especially in flawless condition, but the most exciting part of the 1996 quarter story comes down to mint errors. Some of these coins left the mint with doubled dies, where parts of the design or lettering show a shadowy doubling effect. Imagine the word Liberty or the Eagle's features appearing doubled under magnification. This can transform a regular coin into a rare prize. Off-center strikes are another fascinating error for this year. If the blank planchet wasn't properly aligned during striking, the design could end up shifted noticeably to one side. The more dramatic the shift, the more collectors are willing to pay. Wrong planchet errors are among the rarest, but they do exist. These are coins struck on the wrong type of blank, such as a dime or a foreign planchet, creating a one-of-a-kind rarity that excites collectors and always performs well at auctions. You may also find die cracks and cuds on some 1996 quarters. These appear as raised lines or blobs of extra metal where the die broke during striking. While minor die cracks may not add much value, dramatic cuds can create unusual, eye-catching pieces that collectors love. So, between the difficulty of finding pristine examples, the beauty of the proof and silver strikes, and the thrill of discovering rare errors, the 1996 quarter has a lot to offer collectors. It's a reminder that even modern coins, if they have the right mix of condition and uniqueness, can carry real value far beyond their face. Now comes the part you've been waiting for, the value. In most cases, a circulated 1996 quarter is still worth just 25 cents. But in high mint state grades, these coins can bring in dozens of dollars, sometimes even reaching into the hundreds for the very best examples. Proof and silver issues in flawless condition can also command strong prices. And when it comes to dramatic error coins, like doubled dies, major off-center strikes, or wrong planchet pieces, those have sold at auction for hundreds and even thousands of dollars, depending on the rarity and condition. So the next time you come across a 1996 quarter, don't be too quick to spend it. Look closely, check its condition, and see if you might be holding something rare. That little coin could turn out to be a hidden treasure right in your pocket. Top 4. We're stepping into the early 90s to take a close look at a coin that many people pass by without even a second thought, the 1993 Washington quarter. At first glance, it seems like just another pocket change coin, but once you know the full story, you'll realize why this particular year has become surprisingly interesting for serious collectors. The 1993 quarter still carries the classic eagle reverse, a design that had been used since 1932 and was only a few years away from being replaced by the state quarter program in 1999. For many, this design feels nostalgic. The bold eagle with spread wings clutching arrows and an olive branch stands as a symbol of American pride and strength. On the obverse, George Washington's profile continues to anchor the design, a portrait that had already been familiar to generations of Americans. Now, let's talk about why the 1993 quarter stands out. Millions were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, and of course, proof issues were made in San Francisco. At first, it sounds like there's nothing rare about this coin, right? But the key is in the details. Circulated examples are common, but pristine, untouched pieces in mint state condition are much harder to come by. The majority of these quarters were tossed around in daily circulation, picking up marks, scratches, and wear. That's why collectors chase down those few survivors that have stayed flawless since the day they were struck. High-grade examples, those graded mint state 67 and above, are the real treasures. They stand out because so few coins manage to survive in such sharp, brilliant condition. Proof versions, especially the silver proofs, also carry strong collector appeal, thanks to their mirror-like surfaces and beautiful frosted designs, but what really makes the 1993 quarter fascinating are the mint errors that appeared that year. Errors are the twists of fate that turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. One of the most popular types collectors hunt for is the double die, where parts of the lettering or design show a clear doubling. Imagine spotting a shadowy second set of letters in God We Trust, or extra details in the eagle's wings. These coins become instantly more valuable. Then there are off-center strikes, a type of error where the design is shifted on the blank planchet, leaving a crescent of empty space. The more dramatic the shift, the rarer and more desirable the coin becomes. Another thrilling type of error is the wrong planchet strike. If a 1993 quarter design was accidentally struck on a dime or cent blank, the result would be a highly unique and rare coin. These are the kinds of pieces that collectors dream of finding, because each one is a true one-of-a-kind mistake. Die cracks and cuds also appear on some 1993 quarters, showing up as raised lines or blobs of extra metal caused by a damaged die. While small cracks don't usually add much value, dramatic cuds can catch a collector's eye and make the coin more desirable. So between the challenge of finding pristine examples, the beauty of the proof and silver issues, and the world of mint errors, the 1993 quarter has a lot more going for it than most people realize. It's a reminder that even modern coins, when preserved in top condition or struck with unusual mistakes, can turn into hidden treasures. And now for the part you've been waiting for, the value. A typical circulated 1993 quarter is worth just face value, 25 cents. But high-grade mint state examples have sold for dozens and even hundreds of dollars. Proof and silver-proof versions in flawless condition can command even higher prices. And dramatic error coins, like double dies, major off-center strikes, or wrong planchet pieces, have crossed into the thousands at auction, making them some of the most exciting finds from this year. So don't overlook that 1993 quarter in your change. Take a closer look, because you just might be holding onto something far more valuable than you ever expected. Top 5, and last rare coin. We're traveling back to the late 1980s to explore a coin that many people overlook, yet it hides some exciting surprises, the 1988 Washington quarter. At first glance, it might feel like just another pocket change coin, but believe me, once you know what makes this year stand out, you'll never look at your change the same way again. The 1988 quarter carries the classic design we all know so well. On the front, George Washington's profile appears strong and familiar, and on the back, the bold eagle sits perched with its wings spread, holding arrows and olive branches. It's the design that millions of Americans grew up with, and for many, it sparks a sense of nostalgia. This design would remain until the state quarter program took over in 1999, so the 1988 edition represents the last decade of the old-style Washington quarters. Now let's dig into the details. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced hundreds of millions of these coins, and San Francisco struck proof versions for collectors. That's why, at face value, most 1988 quarters are extremely common. You can still find them in circulation today. But as always, the story changes when you look at condition and rarity. Most of the coins from this year were used in everyday transactions, tossed around in cash registers, worn down in pockets, and scarred by time. Finding one in flawless condition, sharp strike, no scratches, perfect luster, is much harder than you'd imagine. High-grade coins, especially those graded mint state 67 or higher, are the real prizes. These pieces are scarce because only a handful survived without any damage. Proof versions from San Francisco, particularly the ones in deep cameo condition, also carry special appeal for collectors because of their mirror-like fields and frosted designs. But what really excites collectors about the 1988 quarter are the mint errors. Errors are the unexpected twists that turn ordinary coins into rare treasures. One of the most sought-after errors from this year is the off-center strike. When the coin is struck outside of perfect alignment, part of the design shifts off the blank, leaving a crescent of empty space. The more dramatic the shift, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Another fascinating error is the double die. On some 1988 quarters, letters and numbers may appear doubled, often visible in phrases like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." A strong doubling error is instantly noticeable and can raise the value significantly. Collectors also look out for wrong planchet strikes. Imagine a 1988 quarter accidentally struck on a dime or cent planchet. The coin would be smaller or lighter, instantly making it a unique and rare piece. These are the coins that collectors dream about finding in their pocket change, because no two are ever exactly alike. There are also examples of die cracks and cuts from this year. These appear as raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin's surface, created when the minting dies began to fail. While small die cracks might not add much value, a dramatic cud, especially on the eagle's wings or Washington's portrait, can make a coin stand out and draw collectors' eye. So even though the 1988 quarter may not seem special at first, the combination of condition rarity, proof issues, and dramatic mint errors transforms it into something exciting for coin enthusiasts. It's the kind of coin that teaches us to look closely, because hidden treasures often come in the most ordinary disguises. And now for the values. A typical 1988 quarter that has been circulated is worth just its face value of 25 cents. But in pristine mint state condition, these coins can sell for several $100s depending on grade. Proof and deep cameo proof versions also carry premium prices, especially when flawless. And here's the thrilling part: rare error coins, like double dies, dramatic off-center strikes, or wrong planchet errors, have sold at major auctions for amounts reaching into the thousands of dollars. So the next time you spot a 1988 quarter, don't just spend it right away. Take a close look, because it might not be just another coin, it could be a hidden gem worth far more than 25 cents. If you enjoyed this dive into the story of the 1988 quarter, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another exciting journey into the world of rare and valuable coins. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!